Okay, guys, we have a fun project today. All right, so I've got the new IOD winter release mold. This one's called Charlbury Lane. So it has 4 little houses on it. And so when I saw this, I thought and thought, because I didn't want to do the typical village, but I did want to put them all together. So I thought about a planter. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cast all of the houses using air dry clay. This is IOD's air dry clay. And so I'm just pressing it down into the mold. I kind of, you try to get a big enough piece that will fit the mold. So once I get it all pressed in and make sure it's all around the edges, I'm going to start removing some of the excess clay with my thumb and my fingers. So I just lightly, you kind of push the clay out to the edge, and I'll smooth it with my fingers as I go. And then we'll take my brayer and just make sure that it's nice and flat on the back. Now, the reason you want the back to be nice and flat is because when you go to glue it down on your surface, it'll be a nice, snug fit. So, I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but I do like to put cornstarch in my molds when using air dry clay. It just helps the clay to release a little easier. So, what I do is just use a little paintbrush and kind of do a dusting inside the mold. So another thing that helps your clay release is putting your mold in the freezer. So like this mold has some little tiny parts on the top of the houses, like little chimney areas. So if a mold has little intricate pieces like that, just to be safe, I like to put it in the freezer. So once I get all these houses casted, or once I get all my clay in, I will stick this in the freezer for about 20 minutes, and it just helps. They will freeze kinda, but they're gonna soften right back up within 20 minutes. So they're a little bit hard, so they pop right out of the mold, but then they soften back up, and so you can still mold them. They'll still be pliable, but they will all be in one piece. Now, I'm not saying you have to put them in the freezer. I'm just saying it's helpful. But anyway, I'm going to finish casting the rest, these other 2 houses, and then, like I said, I am gonna go and pop mine in the freezer for a little bit. Okay, so I've just taken the mold out of the freezer, and I'm just gonna turn it over, and let's see how well they just pop out. So I just lift the mold up around all the edges, and I'm just letting the mold fall out. See how easily they just drop right out of the mold, so I don't have to tug on the clay or pull on it or anything. So here's one of the little houses. See, I love all the little details. And then this is the one that had that really little piece at the very top. So everything is nice. It's a little firm. And so I am going to take them. Now this is the little thing that I'm going to use as a planter. Now this is an old brick mold. It's a wooden brick mold that someone very sweet sent to me. So I just thought it was perfect for this. I've been saving this brick mold for a while, trying to figure out, I wanted to do something really neat with it, so I thought this was perfect. So I'm just now spacing out the houses, trying to see how I want to line them up. I think I'm just going to alternate them and then just glue them on. So I'm going to be using Tight Bond glue. I just poured a little out on my table, and I'm just going to rub it on with my fingers, just a light coat. I'm coming all the way out to the edges, and then I'm just going to line it up This had a little metal strip on there, so I'm just going right over that metal strip, and then I'm gonna gently press it down to make sure it molds to the surface. You don't want to press too hard. This is still just a little bit firm from the freezer, but like I said, it softens up really quickly, and you can still move it, but I don't want to press too hard and smudge the design. So I am adding my last piece, and I want you to notice see how they have really softened up, and how it's see how that's kind of bending at the top. Now, one thing I did, because I wasn't paying attention, when I put my glue on the back, I went all the way up to the top of those two taller houses, and I just did not need to do that. So anyway, there's glue on the back of those, two taller houses at the top, and I could have just kind of put a board up there, but I was really afraid that it would glue to it. So anyway, I did put some little paint sticks. Now, I came up probably about 1/8 of an inch from the bottom of this little wood piece. If you've ever worked with mold castings before with clay, and they will move on you before they dry. So I didn't want them to slide all the way down to the bottom. So I put these paint sticks right up under them, just so to brace them, to keep them from sliding down. So now I've decided that I'm going to try to dry the pieces, the little houses, and to make sure that they are straight up. So I took another one of my paint stirrers and used that to brace the little the mold casting, to kind of hold it up as it dried. And that seemed to work really well. So I just kept doing that. I would kind of go forwards and backwards just to make sure that I was getting both sides and that it was drying all the way through. Okay, so this is the next day, and the castings are nice and dry, and they're hard, and they dried upright. Now, one thing that I did want to show you, after I dried them, I decided that I wanted to just make sure that little houses weren't going to bend. So I made these little clay, see those little rolled up pieces of clay behind the houses there, the two tall houses. I just used 2 different pieces. I just rolled up my clay, and I glued it to the board, and I also glued it to the house. And so I just stacked 2 of those on top of each other. Okay, so once your castings are nice and dry, now we can paint. So I'm just going to use a white chalk paint, and we're going to paint the entire piece. So the only thing that I just want to mention here is that when you're painting little pieces like this that have, so these houses have little bitty windows and doors on them, and little, just a lot of little details. So I always want to make sure that I'm not leaving any puddles of paint behind, which is so easy to do. So I'll probably put on 2 coats, and while I'm painting, I just always check to make sure that I'm not leaving puddles of paint. So I'm going to quickly finish painting the front of the planter, and then we're going to bring out all those little details in the houses using a technique called a paint wash. This is one of my favorite techniques, and it is so simple. All it is a mixture of paint and water. You paint it on, and then you just wipe it back. It's really that simple. But before we do that, let's take a look at how the houses look just white. Aren't they pretty? I just think this looks good just like it is. We're going to get it nice and dry, and then we're going to bring out those details with that paint wash. Okay, so the color I'm using for my paint wash is called Prairie Gray. It's by DIY. I'm going to add in just a little bit of paint in a styrofoam bowl, and I'm adding in just a little bit of water. So you just kind of want to get it, there's no set method of doing this wash. I just kind of do it to where the paint is kind of watery, and that I know it'll go on, just kind of easily. So you can add as you go if you find out that it's a little too thick. You can also spray the water directly on your piece after you've painted it. So anyway, I'm just mixing up this prairie gray color with a little bit of water, and then we're just going to brush it right on. You can tell how watery it is. Now, another thing about this DIY paint, it's highly pigmented, so it does not take a lot of paint at all. It doesn't lose its vibrancy or its color by adding water to it. You can add, I think I've been told it's up to 8 times. So anyway, I'm just going to brush it on, making sure to get it in all those little details. So again, there's no rhyme or reason, just get it covered. It's easier to work in sections because we're going to be wiping it back. So we'll just do one house at a time. So here's what it's looking like right after you put on the paint. And then we're going to take a damp cloth and just lightly wipe it back. Now the goal here is to leave it in the crevices and then wipe it back off of, off the raised areas. Now, here I grabbed a little piece of paper towel because I couldn't wipe it. You don't want it puddling in those little tiny places like the windows. So I just want to dab it out of there, just so you don't want it completely, dark. And so this is a technique that you just play around with it. So see, if you wipe off too much, you can go back and add more. So if you have a heavy hand and you wipe off too much, just know that you can brush on a little bit more and then wipe that back. So anyway, and I also use a little artist brush here so on the sides of the planter, it was kind of flat. So if you use a rag there, you're just going to pretty much wipe it all off. So I just used a brush and just kind of drug the paint, kind of like when you glaze. And this was a dry brush. So once I brushed it on with that first brush, I used a dry artist brush right here and just kind of moved the paint around. Okay, so we're going to keep going. We're going to do all 4 houses. And then I've got one extra step that I like to do. Okay, I'm on the last house. So again, I'm just brushing on the paint wash, and then I'm going to take my damp rag and I'm just going to lightly wipe it back off the raised areas. And here we go. So that's what we have. This is the look that I love. It's just very subtle, but it's enough to really bring out the details. So here I'm going to heat it, I'm going to dry it with my heat gun, because the last step I like to do is a little dry brushing along those raised areas. So I want to make sure my paint is dry, and then I'm going to take a little chip brush and use the same white paint that I used at the beginning and just hit those high areas with a little white paint. So I like to start out with just a little bit of paint on my brush. So I will dip it in, and then I will wipe it back on a paper towel, and then I will lightly brush across the top. And so I'm just hitting those high points. And so you can, and I go a little at a time because you can build up the paint, but you don't want to start out with a lot of paint on your brush because then you'll just be painting, over the houses. So I just want to light paint over the raised areas, and all that does is just brighten it up a little bit. So I've done all 4 houses. I'm going to take one final sweep across all of them, and here we go. That's it. I love how it turned out. You probably can't see the highlights of the dry brushing, but it's there, and I promise it's worth it. So now I've got this little, I could have used this little planner, y'all. I could have just put probably 3 houses on this, but this is one of those things that you can get at TJ Maxx or Home Goods. Now mine just had just a little bit of greenery in it, and I just added these loose flowers in there just to give you an idea of how cute this is as a planter. And you can change this out throughout the seasons. That's what I really love about it. I think it would be so pretty at Christmas with just some greenery and some bottleneck trees around it. So I hope you enjoyed this, and I hope it was helpful and inspired you to create your own little house planter. And I will see you soon. Bye.